Grange businesses ordered closed after fatal shooting of student. Following the shooting death of a male student at the Grange High School, Westmoreland, and the injury of another female student Thursday afternoon, businesses in the crime plate community have been ordered closed. The identity of the deceased student is still unknown, however. Residents told reporters that the teen is in the 10th grade and resides in race course in the community. Reporters were present in Grange Hill Town and witnessed a police driving around with a two-crier about 7 p.m. belting out "Close up, close up." Several businesses were seen closing the doors hurriedly as they complied with the instruction. The community has been impacted by the series of criminal activities and the business sector continues to suffer. The student's death comes on the heels of a series of violence among our nation's school children. 14-year-old Irwin High School student charged with murder of schoolmate granted bail. The 14-year-old Irwin High School student who was charged in relation to last week's murder of 15-year-old Randy Plummer was granted bail when he appeared in the St. James Family Court on Thursday. He was granted bail in the sum of $100,000. Police reports are that Plummer and the teen had an altercation whilst at the Granville St. James School on Thursday, April 17. About 3 p.m., Plummer was approached by the said student along with a group of boys who attacked him, the police stated. During the squabble, a knife was reportedly brandished and used to stab Plummer in the chest. Plummer was assisted to hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. St. James High School Board to receive reports regarding expelled students in a week. The board of the St. James High School is expected to know within a week the outcome of an investigation undertaken by the personnel committee of the board surrounding two female students who were reportedly expelled without proper process being followed. The saga surrounding the girls who were expelled in January all started following a kiss by the two, which was posted on one of the girls' WhatsApp status. The students were reportedly expelled by the principal without sanctioning the board. The board met Thursday afternoon and the matter was referred to the personnel committee. The nature of the meeting was to refer the situation to the personnel committee for them to do an investigation to see what the nature of the situation is, board chairman Christopher McCurdy told reporters following the meeting. One of the girls was enrolled in a private school earlier this month, while the other remains out of school. Earlier, Jamaicans for Justice in a press release stated, if what was reported in the media is true, JFJ finds no merit in the grounds for the disciplinary action. What is raised was the need for an ongoing age-appropriate comprehensive sexual education for students without shame and moral judgment. Secondly, the decision to bar the students from school effectively, expelling them, breached their right to education as well as the fundamental principles of due process as outlined in the Constitution of Jamaica. The Education Regulations 1980, which were effective pursuant on Section 43 of the Education Act, sets clear framework regarding how expulsion in schools are to be done. Reports that the principal's decision was reportedly based on moral judgment rather than established guidelines in a grave concern and ought to be condemned. By circumventing the board, despite the education regulations, there was no transparent consultative decision-making process, and the students were also denied their right to appeal any disciplinary action imposed, stated the release. JFG urged members of the Ministry of Education to address the situation with haste. While we understand an investigation is ongoing and the ministry awaits a report from the institution, it is imperative that the child unable to enroll in school as a result of this incident is assisted expeditiously to mitigate their disenfranchisement, the release added. McCurdy told reporters that he asked the Ministry of Education to provide support to the girls and their parents. We are in dialogue with the parents of both kids. We are doing everything that we can to ensure that they are taken care of in terms of their well-being. I have written to the Regional Office of the Ministry of Education requesting that immediate intervention be carried out for both kids to ensure their mental health. This is because when a child is displaced from school for an extended period, it can take it all out on their mental ability. So that is one of the ways I requested that the ministry then move in to quickly assist these students and parents as well with some level of counseling, and we hope that they can be placed in an institution for learning as quickly as possible, stated McCurdy, who is hoping that the remaining child will be at an institution by Monday.
I want to make it very clear before I get into the concerns that JFJ is calling for the immediate reinstatement of the St. James High School student. From what we have gathered, while one of the students have since found enrollment in another institution, the second child involved is still at home, not being able to get access to education. And that is very troubling and concerning for us. Notwithstanding that there is an investigation that is underway, we think that the best interest of the child ought to be recognized, ought to be respected, as in keeping with the Child Care and Protection Act, as well as the conventions that Jamaica has been signatory to. It is also troubling to us that based on the parents' accounts, the parents had actually gone to the ministry's regional body, and to no avail. They got no assistance whatsoever. They only apparently got some assistance following this particular matter coming to the public fore. Very, very troubling, very concerning. And again, we are reiterating that it is important in the interest of justice, the best interest of the child, that the child be reinstated forthwith, and that the necessary investigations take shape. And should the principal be found wanting, it is important for transparency and accountability that the necessary disciplinary actions are so imposed.
Charles Jr. says minimum wage does not affect allowances and insurance benefits. Labour Minister Prentice Charles Jr. has sought to clarify that the impending increase in the minimum wage does not affect allowances and insurance benefits. Effective June 1, the new minimum wage for all categories of workers, including security guards, will be $15,000 per 40-hour work week. The increase was announced last month by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Mr. Charles Jr. tabled the order in the lower house for debate and affirmation yesterday. He reiterated most of the points made by the Prime Minister about the reasons for the increase. Mr. Charles Jr. also outlined how time rates should be calculated. The minister stressed that the increase for guards only applies to the basic rate. Mr. Charles Jr. again urged employers to pay more than they set minimum.
It is important to clarify, Madam Speaker, that the wage increase for industrial security guards applies solely to the basic rate. As such, this increase does not currently encompass any adjustment to allowances and insurance benefits. Subsequently, the prevailing rates will remain. The laundry allowance remains at $52.38 per hour. The firearm premium allowance is at $57.15 per hour. The dog handler's premium allowance will remain at $39.29 per hour. And the life insurance coverage with double indemnity protection and dismemberment coverage will remain at $3,273,000. Let me reiterate that the minimum wage stands, as it says, as a minimum basic standard. And I want to use this opportunity to appeal and to strongly urge all employers, particularly those with the means to do so, to offer their workers compensation that exceed the minimum threshold. And I want to use the opportunity as well to applaud all of those employers who are already doing so. And we should all be aware of the challenges faced by the workforce. And so it is important, Madam Speaker, to do so and to demonstrate a resolve in creating a decent working environment and to offer support to advance the sustainable development and productivity of our labor force.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.